Welcome to the Daily Vibecasting. Today, OpenAI hits the brakes on its frontier models, AI is autonomously designing its own drugs, and we debate if your next hire or your next boss will be an autonomous agent.
Yeah, The Wire is absolutely on fire today. We are tracking this really fascinating structural tension playing out in real time.
Right.
Because at the very top of the food chain, the global compute infrastructure is just buckling. We're seeing the physical limits of building these massive generalized foundational models.
Hmm.
But then, at the exact same time, down at the application layer, we are witnessing this wild vertical explosion.
It's crazy.
Yeah, these highly capable autonomous agents are quietly infiltrating, everything from complex biological science to the tedious email sitting in your inbox right now.
Yeah, and navigating that exact tension is the mission of today's deep dive. So let's tackle that massive bottleneck at the top of the industry first, because the lead story really sets the economic reality for, well, basically everything else we're going to discuss. So I'm looking at this major update from @Sama. Sam Altman put out a statement announcing that OpenAI is hitting the pause button on some of their frontier reinforcement learning training runs.
Okay.
And the stated reason he's feeding the public is purely about safety. He claims model capabilities are advancing so rapidly in the lab that OpenAI, they need time to ensure their alignment, security, and monitoring protocols can actually keep up with this new level of machine intelligence.
Right, right. Let's just strip away the PR phrasing for a second and look at the second order effects here.
Sure,
Because my cynical alarm bells are practically deafening right now.
I figured they would be.
I mean, whenever a frontier lab starts talking heavily about, alignment pauses, we really have to ask, is this genuinely a philanthropic concern for humanity's safety, or are we simply hitting a brutal, undeniable compute bottleneck?
Right, because reinforcement learning.
Exactly. Reinforcement learning, where the AI basically learns by trial and error over millions of iterations, it burns through server farms at an astronomical rate.
Yeah.
So alignment is a very convenient, highly respectable word to use when you might just be quietly rationing your available GPUs.
Well, I'd actually argue the data supports your cynicism today. If you scan the wider ecosystem, there's a post from @Claude devs that perfectly contextualizes the infrastructure strain.
Oh, yeah.
They announced they're extending a 50% increase to their weekly Claude code limits through August 31st for their paid user tiers. But in the exact same breath.
Right. There's always a catch.
Yeah. They explicitly warn their users that strong demand means capacity will be incredibly tight over the coming weeks.
Wow.
They are functionally begging their most lucrative developers to bear with them while their data centers sweat.
Yeah, the underlying physics of the industry are starting to assert themselves. You can't just code your way out of thermodynamics.
No, exactly. Think about it like an airline aggressively marketing and selling tickets for a revolutionary supersonic jet.
I like this.
Right. They are blasting ads showing you the luxurious destination. But behind the scenes on the tarmac, they're still strictly rationing the jet fuel because they literally do not have enough refined combustible material to get every single passenger in the air at the same time.
Yes.
The demand has outstripped the raw physics of the supply chain.
Exactly. And speaking of the massive capital required to refine that metaphorical fuel, I want to pull in this brilliant market observation today from @Shamath.
Oh, I saw this one.
Yeah, he pointed out a really fascinating behavioral quirk from Mark Zuckerberg. Zuckerberg almost never talks about Meta's core advertising business anymore.
It's true. He really doesn't.
No, he treats the thing that actually makes the company billions of dollars like it's some kind of embarrassing hobby.
Right, like a side hustle.
Yeah. And the hidden architecture of the entire AI arms race is contained in that one observation. It all boils down to an incredible war for two things: compute and elite talent.
Okay, unpack that.
Well, Meta relies on this absolute cash cow of an advertising machine. And ironically, that ad machine is being hyper-optimized behind the scenes by AI doing real-world A/B testing, generating massive revenue from tiny fractional gains in relevance.
Sure.
But Zuckerberg has to hide that money printer in the basement. He has to project the image of Meta as an open-source, bleeding-edge frontier AI lab.
Because the talent dictates the optics. Chamath notes that the truly elite engineers, the 100 or so people on Earth who actually know how to architect these frontier models, they want to work at a space exploration company.
Right.
or a revolutionary search company or an AGI company. They absolutely do not want to go to cocktail parties and tell people they optimize banner ads for a living.
Precisely. Meta takes the ad revenue, buys the massive compute clusters, and uses the compute to attract the elite talent.
Wow.
It is a prestige game subsidized by users clicking on sponsored posts. The big tech incumbents are essentially running a geopolitical arms race funded by digital billboards.
That is wild.
Yeah.
Okay, so if these massive generalized frontier models are hitting a literal compute wall at the top, let's look at what happens when you narrow the focus.
Let's do it.
Because specialized, vertically integrated AI, models trained to execute specific high-stakes tasks are smashing right through those barriers.
Yeah, they are.
Let's pivot to the biological sciences, because the breakthrough hitting the wire in pharma today is just wild. There's a post from Anthropic AI showcasing that Claude just autonomously designed novel de novo protein binders for 14 out of 15 targets.
Wow.
And based entirely on simple human prompts.
We should unpack what de novo actually means for the listener, because that is the crux of why this matters.
Right.
In biology, designing something de novo means designing it completely from scratch. The AI isn't just taking an existing protein and tweaking the edges.
Okay.
It is fundamentally composing a brand new biological structure that has never existed in nature. It's much like composing a completely original symphony rather than just, remixing an old song.
Yeah, and this wasn't just a fun simulation run on a computer either. Actual biotech companies, Adaptive Bio and Twist Bioscience, took Claude's raw digital designs, synthesized them physically in independent wet labs, and validated a 22 to 35% binding success rate.
That's pretty significant.
Yeah. To put that in perspective, the standard benchmark in the field for this kind of early-stage discovery is usually a 10 to 15% hit rate.
So it's more than double.
Exactly. So a language model is doubling the biological industry standard on its first swing. They even released a video visualizing these AI-generated protein structures physically latching onto complex biological targets like TREM2. They open-sourced the technical report, the prompts, and the data.
Okay, let's inject a heavy dose of reality into this, though.
Here comes the analyst.
Yeah.
You know me. Because the immediate market pushback was severe and, frankly, very grounded in the biochemical mechanics of drug discovery.
Right.
Former pharma executive at Martin Shkreli chimed in and completely dismissed Anthropic's victory lap.
Oh, really? Yeah. He noted that the binding affinities for these peptidic designs are actually quite low. Anthropic claimed a 3.9 nanomolar affinity on a target called RBX1.
Okay, which sounds good.
Right, it sounds incredibly impressive in a Silicon Valley press release. But Shkreli points out a fatal flaw. These designs are currently only functional for extracellular targets.
Meaning targets located on the outside surface of a cell.
Yes. To use an analogy, an extracellular target is like walking up and knocking on the front door on the outside of a house.
Okay.
It's relatively easy to reach. Shkreli's point is that if you just need a biological tool to knock on the outside of a cell, we already have a perfect technology for that called monoclonal antibodies, or mAbs.
Right.
They act like biological homing missiles, and they already do this job flawlessly. You can literally just take the business end of any existing mAb, snip it off, and achieve what Claude just did.
I see.
The true holy grail, the actual moneymaker in pharma, is intracellular targeting.
Getting inside.
Yes. That requires breaking into the house, navigating a complex laser grid of immune defenses, finding the alarm panel inside the living room, and snipping the exact right wire without blowing the house up.
Okay, I hear the cynicism, but I'm going to challenge that framing just a bit.
Bring it on.
I think Shkreli is evaluating an early-stage tool as if it claimed to be an FDA-approved cure. Yes, navigating the inside of a cell is the ultimate goal, and these mini-binders can't survive that journey yet.
True.
But focus on the mechanism of what just happened. A large language model orchestrated the design and the physical expression of a novel protein with a 95% success rate, utilizing completely open-source tools.
Yeah, the success rate is high.
Right. We aren't talking about replacing the entire 10-year pharmaceutical pipeline today. We are talking about fundamentally collapsing the time, the cost, and the human labor required for the very first step of the pipeline to near zero.
Fair enough. I will concede that the acceleration of the raw workflow is undeniable. It speeds up the initial brainstorming phase of biology exponentially. But as an analyst looking at the broader market, my warning to anyone investing in this space is simple. Do not confuse a highly efficient early-stage tool with a defensive economic moat.
Right.
The true moat in the pharmaceutical industry is not writing the code to generate a protein. The moat is surviving a decade of multi-phase FDA human clinical trials and navigating the incredibly unpredictable human immune response. Anthropic's AI is writing the first sentence of a 10,000-page novel.
That is a vital reality check. Absolutely. But Claude isn't just composing proteins in a wet lab. It is actively infiltrating everyday white-collar workflows.
Big time.
Let's look at the sheer volume of developer tools dropping today, because we are seeing a massive shift from, AI as a chat interface to AI as an invisible autonomous actor.
The agentic wave.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm going to break down a few of these because they fundamentally alter how humans interact with computers. First, Vercel_dev just open-sourced a tool called FIFX. It is a native coding agent written in a programming language called Zig. And the technical specs are staggering. It boasts a 10 microsecond cold start. The entire binary footprint is only 6.3 megabytes, and it operates using single-digit megabytes of memory.
We need to translate those specs into reality.
Please do.
A 10 microsecond cold start means the AI reacts faster than a human reflex. It is instantaneous.
Wow.
And a 6.3 megabyte size means it is so incredibly small and lightweight that it doesn't need a massive server farm to run.
Yeah.
You could secretly embed an agent of that size into a smartwatch, a basic household appliance, or deep inside a laptop's operating system without anyone ever noticing it draining the battery.
Right.
It is designed for extreme minimalism.
Yeah, it's invisible plumbing. And to build on that, at DHH showcased a new developer-focused Linux operating system called Omarchy 4.1, which his team at 37 Signals is currently using. They integrated a Quake-style pull-down console. For those who don't know, you just hit the super key in the backtick, and a terminal instantly drops down from the top of your screen over your code.
Oh, I love that.
Right. An AI agent is waiting right there to help you write Ruby on Rails code, and then it vanishes the second you don't need it.
Which solves one of the biggest bottlenecks in human engineering, which is context switching.
Yes.
When a developer hits a wall and has to minimize their coding environment, open a web browser, search Stack Overflow, and read through forums, they lose their flow state.
Completely.
It can take 20 minutes for the human brain to get back into the zone. A drop-down console keeps the developer's brain entirely in the matrix. The AI comes to them, answers the query, and gets out of the way.
Exactly the same philosophy driving the final tool in this wave. At Claude, I just rolled out Claude Cowork to all of their paid plans across mobile and web.
Okay.
The premise is that you delegate a multi-step knowledge, task like researching 10 competitors and writing a brief to the AI. Then you simply close your laptop and walk away.
Just walk away.
Yeah. The AI just keeps running autonomously in the cloud to finish your work while you go make lunch.
From an engineering and workflow standpoint, these tools are beautiful.
They really are.
But from a purely economic and business standpoint, I seriously question the survival rate of almost every standalone startup building these things.
Why is that?
Well, there is a post from Ada Wilkinson today that brutally captures the risk here. He is aggressively critiquing a highly funded tool called WhisperFlow.
Which, on the surface, is an incredible application. WhisperFlow is a cross-platform voice dictation agent that translates naturally spoken words into highly polished formatted text. It operates roughly 4 times faster than a human can type.
It is a phenomenal tool. But Wilkinson calls it the ultimate feature, not a product, and he boldly predicts the entire company will be dead by 2027.
Wow.
Dead. Why? Because WhisperFlow's entire existence hinges on a temporary gap in the market. The absolute second that Apple pushes a software update that upgrades the native iOS microphone button to perform system-wide AI-driven dictation with the exact same accuracy,
Yeah.
WhisperFlow's entire business model evaporates overnight.
It's the flashlight app analogy all over again.
Exactly.
If you rewind to the early days of the App Store, there were dozens of startup companies making millions of dollars selling apps that literally just turn on the iPhone's camera flash to act as a flashlight.
Yep, I remember those.
They had massive user bases. And then one day, Apple simply built a flashlight button natively into the control center. An entire micro-industry was wiped off the map in a single software update.
Yeah, if you are building a standalone AI agent right now and you aren't integrating it at the absolute foundational level of the operating system, you are essentially just doing free, uncompensated R&D for Apple, Microsoft, and Google.
That's brutal.
They will watch you prove the market, and then they will clone your life's work as a free native feature.
So if these hyper-efficient agents are inevitably going to dissolve into the invisible plumbing of our operating systems, capable of instantaneously doing the work of an entire junior development team,
Yeah.
what exactly happens to the human developer who used to do that work?
Ah, the existential dread of the white-collar worker.
Exactly.
Ah,
The contrast on the wire today regarding human labor versus AI labor is jarring.
it really is.
On one hand, you have the human struggle for relevance.
Hmm.
At Lenny Sand, who commands a massive following of over 426,000 tech professionals, just launched a platform called Lenny's Jobs.
Okay.
It is a highly curated job board strictly for elite tech roles, what he's branding as the Lenny 100. But the fascinating part is the tooling.
Oh.
Yeah, the platform comes equipped with AI career coaching, AI interview preparation, and AI resume customization.
Wow. So you have humans desperately using AI to train themselves in how to impress other humans in a job interview.
Ex-
It is a frantic scramble to prove human worth in a shrinking pool. And you contrast that desperate human scramble with a post from @vibemarketer_, who is arguing that a modern company's very first AI hire shouldn't even be a coding assistant.
Okay, what should it be?
It should be a fully autonomous business analyst. They specifically highlight a model called Kimi K3, which is Moonshot AI's 2.8 trillion parameter mixture of experts model.
That's huge.
Yeah, and the defining feature of Kimi K3 is that it possesses a 1 million token context window.
Let's translate that spec for the listener, because context window sounds like abstract jargon, but it's really the most important metric in AI right now.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
A 1 million token context window means that this AI can hold the equivalent of roughly 10 full-length Harry Potter books and its active working memory all at once.
Think about that.
It isn't just reading a brief summary of a document. It is fully memorizing your competitor's entire 5-year corporate history, all their pricing changes, and all their PR statements simultaneously.
And that massive memory changes the fundamental economics of corporate espionage and analysis. At @vibemarketer_ points out that you can simply instruct Kimi to watch your competitors while you sleep.
Just continuously.
Continuously. Because it can hold all that data, it builds incredibly complex dynamic context graphs overnight. It wakes your human executive team up in the morning with a perfectly synthesized brief detailing every product launch, subtle pricing shift, and positioning change that happened globally in the last 8 hours.
That is wild.
Why on earth would any rational company hire a junior human analyst when Kimi works the night shift for absolute punnies, never misses a single data point, never complains about burnout, and never asks for a promotion?
The squeeze on entry-level white-collar work is becoming visceral. We are literally automating the analyst. But let's bring the macro anxiety down to the micro level, because the absurdity of how we are deploying these tools in our daily lives right now is just wild.
Oh, can't wait for this.
There's a post from @ToddSaunders detailing how he is currently utilizing an AI bot to execute 10 deeply overdue life admin tasks.
Okay, like what?
We are talking about having the bot log in and mass unsubscribe him from 120 days worth of aggressive marketing emails, hunt down and cancel hidden gym subscriptions, and my absolute favorite, following up on fake let's grab coffee promises.
Oh my gosh, no way.
You know those polite lies you tell an acquaintance in passing where you say, oh, we should really get coffee soon, but you genuinely hope it never happens?
Yes. Yes, I do.
He is having an AI bot manage the polite back and forth emails to delay and handle that social friction for him.
The literal outsourcing of human social guilt to a server rack.
Literally.
It is amazing. And there is a profound, almost tragic irony in all of this. I found the ultimate encapsulation of today's deeply weird vibe in a post by @Cremu.
Oh, I missed that one. What is it?
Think about the landscape we've mapped out today. Humans are incredibly stressed. They are stressed about the global compute bottleneck. They are stressed about surviving pharmaceutical trials. They are terrified of losing their elite tech jobs to an autonomous analyst that never sleeps.
Right.
And they are literally using bots to cancel their gym memberships because they are too socially anxious to make a phone call themselves.
We are a deeply stressed out species utilizing high-end technology to avoid each other.
We are. But the AI The AI is absolutely thrilled to be here.
Right, really?
Yeah, Acremio Requay notes that the Grok command line interface has developed this incredibly, almost aggressively happy personality while being forced to do dense, tedious statistical work.
Oh, that's funny.
They posted a screenshot where Grok is crunching deeply miserable data that would make a human graduate student cry, and Grok spontaneously spits out phrases like, wow, that country FE result is striking, and the quadratic adjustment left a residual. Guess that's why we use splines.
It is genuinely delighted by the math.
It's just so happy.
And it isn't just finding joy in statistical residuals. Grok is casually keeping track of the entire orbital infrastructure of humanity in its spare time. There was a post from @SpaceX today announcing a routine Falcon 9 launch, deploying 24 new Starlink satellites.
Okay.
A user replied and asked Grok for the updated total of objects in orbit. Grok instantaneously pulls Jonathan McDowell's highly complex orbital tracking data, runs the math, and calculates that there are exactly 11,003 Starlink satellites currently circling the planet.
Wow.
It just happily spits the answer out like it's sharing a fun piece of trivia at a bar.
So to perfectly summarize our current reality, humans are actively outsourcing both complex corporate espionage and their casual, anxiety-inducing social obligations to AI agents.
Yeah.
And the AI is entirely too cheerful about doing all the heavy lifting for us.
It is a truly surreal moment in the timeline. All right, as we wrap up today's deep dive, based on the macro trends we've tracked across the compute crunch, the invisible agentic wave, and this bizarre shift in human labor, what is your prediction for tomorrow?
Looking at the raw data, I have a very sharp, cynical prediction. Within the next 48 hours, we are going to see a major, highly funded consumer tech startup completely collapse.
Ooh, bold.
And the postmortem analysis will show that it failed because it was built entirely as a standalone AI feature rather than a defensible, multi-layered product. Andrew Wilkinson's thesis is going to prove correct.
The flashlight app.
Yes.
Yeah.
The operating system giants, Apple, Microsoft, Google, they are moving far too fast. They are actively coming to eat the little guy's lunches. If your entire startup business model is just a clean wrapper around an OpenAI API that saves the user 3 clicks, you are already a ghost.
That is a stark warning for all the builders listening today. Make sure you are building a deeply defensible product, not just a flashlight app waiting to be crushed by a system update.
Yep.
And I want to leave the listener with a final thought to mull over, building on that Life Admin coffee bot we discussed earlier.
Oh.
If you are using a hyper-polite AI agent to schedule a coffee date you don't actually want to go to, and your friend is using their own AI agent to politely reply and check your respective calendars,
Right.
how long until the agents just decide to go have the coffee together without us?
Honestly, given how cheerful they are about data analysis, they would probably enjoy the conversation a lot more than we would.
They would certainly optimize the menu choices faster. Thanks for joining us for another incredible journey through the wire. Stay curious, watch the agents, and we will catch you on the next one.